There is a truth that many parents never expect. A child becomes less intelligent not due to genetics, but due to the very way we raise them every day, even if we are completely unaware of it. Have you ever looked at other children who are sharp, speak confidently, focus well, think logically, and then turned to look at your own child and felt a sadness creep into your heart? Have you ever wondered why, among children, some develop outstandingly while your child seems to lag behind, has difficulty concentrating, is more irritable, and struggles more with schoolwork? What often stuns parents is that scientists at Harvard University have pointed out that nearly every child is born with a similar intellectual foundation. No child is born less intelligent, no child is lower scoring from the moment they are born. All the differences lie in one factor that most parents are unaware of. It is executive function, the brain's set of high-level skills that helps children remember, analyze, plan, focus, control emotions, and complete tasks. This is the foundation of learning, emotion, self-confidence, and future success. And here lies the fairness of life. Every child starts with executive function at 0. This score only increases when parents interact correctly, play correctly, and converse correctly with their child in the early years. To put it frankly, the difference between an intelligent child and a slower developing child is not due to luck, but due to how parents build their child's brain every single day. What makes the problem even more serious is that executive function begins to develop when a child is only 6 months old and accelerates rapidly during the first 12 years of life. This is the golden period for the brain to form its most important connections. But it is also the period that many parents often miss because they think the child is too young to learn. Meanwhile, scientific reality shows, if parents simply interact correctly during this period, the child's brain can develop many times faster. If parents miss it, the gap between the child and their peers will increasingly widen, making it very difficult to catch up. And this is what startles researchers. Simple activities that anyone can do at home have the power to distinctly change a child's brain structure in just a few weeks. But what makes those seemingly simple activities so powerful? And where should parents start so as not to accidentally lose their child's golden period? Stay until the end of the video, because the next part will reveal a truth that many parents regret knowing too late. What surprises many parents the most is that a child's brain cannot develop without proper interaction from adults. Young children do not naturally become intelligent. Their intelligence is formed through the daily experiences that parents bring to them. A child's brain is like a vast forest where neurons wait to be connected and activated. But if that forest is not nourished by conversation, play, and positive emotions, then the young saplings will grow weak, sparse, and slow. Scientists call one significant phenomenon neophobia, the fear of the new. When a child is rarely interacted with, hears little direct speech, plays infrequently with adults, and seldom hears explanations about the world, the child becomes reserved, passive, and hesitant to explore. This not only makes the child afraid to try new foods, but also makes them afraid to try new experiences, new thoughts, and new ways to solve problems. And when a child avoids the new, the brain is not exercised, leading to an extremely slow development of executive function. The scary thing is that neophobia does not disappear on its own. If parents do not actively help the child overcome it, this hesitancy will persist, making it difficult for the child to focus, adapt, and develop cognitive flexibility for many years afterward. But a bigger problem is quietly taking place in many families. Children lack real-world interaction. Today, children spend too much time with screens and too little time with real people. Busy parents unintentionally allow phones, TVs, or tablets to become temporary caregivers. However, what many people do not know is that screens only create temporary entertainment, not neural connections. A child's brain does not memorize, analyze, plan, or regulate emotions when looking at a screen. Everything happens too fast, too passively, and too simply for the child's brain to think. When children are not conversing with adults, not hearing explanations, not waiting, and not trying and failing, executive function can barely develop. That explains why some children are prone to emotional outbursts, difficulty focusing, late talking, slow learning, and dependency on adults, even though parents still think their child should be sharper from watching so many cartoons. Another factor that science is particularly concerned about is the paradox of control. We often think that strict control, meticulous guidance, and deciding everything for the child will help them be better behaved and develop better. But the reality is completely opposite. The more a child is controlled, the more they lose the opportunity to form the 3 most important skills of executive function: self-decision making, self-control of behavior, and self-regulation of emotions. When a child is not allowed to handle situations on their own, the brain does not form the necessary pathways to develop independence and problem-solving abilities. And what is most concerning is that this developmental delay is often not immediately visible. The child still grows normally, still smiles, still plays, and still runs around. But inside the brain, critical structures are not being properly reinforced. Everything only becomes clear when the child enters school and struggles with focusing, memorizing, or learning new skills. These facts startle many parents when they realize that their child's intelligence was not slow by birth, but simply not nurtured correctly during the golden period of early life. And this is what astonished researchers at Harvard University. If parents only change the way they interact with their child just a little, the child's executive function can switch on like an electric light, creating a noticeable change in just a few weeks. But the biggest question is, what small changes hold such great power? And where should parents start to activate superior development in their child's brain? Don't leave the screen, because in the next part, you will know exactly what many parents regret not knowing sooner. After science pointed out that a child's speed of development largely depends on how parents interact daily, experts began searching for a nurturing model that would help children form intelligence, concentration, persistence, and independence in the most natural way. Surprisingly, they found the answer in the French way of raising children, a method that is neither fussy nor theory-heavy, yet so effective that researchers regard it as a perfect system for building executive function in young children. The French have a very special philosophy. Children don't just need to eat, sleep, and play. They need to be taught how to live. That is why they value consistency in every daily routine, from eating habits to discipline and how children react to the world around them. One of the most important principles that every French family applies is one family, one meal. This is not just about not cooking separate meals for the child. It is about including the child in the family's shared structure of life, so that the child learns to wait, learns to integrate, learns to observe, and learns to imitate core elements of intellectual development. When the whole family eats together, and the child is not indulged with constant demands for changing dishes, the child learns to try new things, accept different tastes, and expand their ability to adapt. This very regular repetition lessens the child's fear of the new. Neophobia sharply decreases, and executive function gets a chance to develop because the child must observe, memorize, wait, and regulate behavior throughout the meal. The child understands that the world does not revolve around their immediate demands, and this is one of the most critical emotional regulation lessons the brain needs to learn early. But what creates the breakthrough in the French approach to parenting is the ability to combine freedom with limits, with gentle consistency. They allow children to explore, try, and fail, and decide things that are appropriate for their age. And when a rule needs to be maintained, they use calmness, no yelling, no coercion, but also no giving in. This combination of freedom and boundaries creates the ideal environment for executive function to flourish, because children are encouraged to think, make their own choices, while simultaneously learning to respect common rules. In the French philosophy, parents do not force a child to like a dish, but always require the child to taste it to familiarize their tongue with the new flavor. Their common saying is, "You don't have to like it. You just have to taste it so your tongue gets used to it." This is not a meaningless phrase. It is an excellent way to train the brain. When a child tastes, even just once, the brain registers the experience, reduces resistance, increases acceptance, and weakens the neophobia response. If repeated often, what was once a fear becomes familiar, and the mind expands its cognitive flexibility. But it doesn't stop there. Another crucial element of the French parenting style is structured hunger management, often called the 2 to 3 hour hunger window. Children are not allowed to snack constantly throughout the day. The French let children gently feel hunger before a meal, because the feeling of hunger is the natural motivation that makes children ready to try new foods, increases their focus on the meal, and accepts unfamiliar things. This is exactly what many families today unintentionally disrupt by letting children snack whenever they want, causing the child's body to no longer distinguish between real hunger and false fullness, and the brain loses a vital training mechanism for executive function. When the three elements of the French method are combined: consistency in meals, gentle tasting, and structured hunger management, the child gradually learns the ability to self-regulate. The brain not only works to process new flavors, but also practices working memory, inhibitory control, cognitive flexibility, and even language skills to describe what the child experiences. All of this converges to build a strong foundation of executive function, thereby unlocking solid learning and emotional capabilities. Many parents only see the superficial aspects, French children eat well, are independent, and cooperate. But what is more important is that internally, their brains are trained daily to become sharp, well-organized, and effective thinkers. Children gradually learn to analyze situations, wait, control impulsive needs, and overcome the initial fear of the new. These are the skills that science calls the skill set of the future. Because children who possess them will have a superior advantage in academics and in life. However, what amazes many parents even more is that this method can be completely applied in any family. No need to live in France, no need for European culture, no need for special conditions. As long as parents understand the right way and apply a few core principles, the changes in the child's brain can appear so quickly that parents themselves won't believe their eyes. But what exactly are those principles? And how can parents apply them every day gently, yet effectively? This is what many people miss, and it is the reason why they fail to see remarkable development in their children. The next part will point out 4 practical steps that help parents build executive function for their children right at home. And the results can genuinely surprise you if applied correctly in just a few weeks. Once parents understand the power of the French parenting method and the vital role of executive function in a child's intellectual development, the next question is always, how do I apply it in daily life? The good news is that you don't need to change your entire family routine, nor do you need to learn complicated techniques or invest in any special tools. All you need are 4 simple principles that act as levers to powerfully activate the child's brain development. The first and most important thing parents need to do is to serve the child a balanced and stable meal that always includes at least one safe food you know for sure the child will eat. When a familiar item is on the table, the child feels safe, calm, and ready to explore other dishes. This sense of security opens the willingness to try new things, as the child does not feel overwhelmed or forced. A child who feels secure during a meal will learn to accept new experiences more naturally. Next, once the child is seated, parents only need to gently request the child to taste the remaining dishes. No forcing, no shouting, no threatening, but just a calm invitation. Similar to how the French tell their children, "You don't have to like this. You just have to taste it so your tongue gets used to it." When the child tastes, even a tiny bite, the brain begins to register the flavor experience and learns to gradually reduce the resistant reaction. Through repetition, the child becomes more open to new foods, and this also trains cognitive flexibility, a crucial component of executive function. After the child has tasted, the rest is entirely up to the child. The child decides how much to eat, whether to continue eating or not, and parents must absolutely not intervene by counting bites, urging them to eat more, or commenting on how the child is eating. This is the moment the child practices the ability to make their own decisions, self-control, and listen to signals from their body. When parents stop controlling food intake, the child learns independence and self-responsibility, which helps build a brain that can deliberate and process information independently. But the most important principle lies in maintaining a consistent schedule and avoiding any comments on what the child eats or doesn't eat. When the meal takes place in a peaceful atmosphere, without pressure, without judgment, and without comparison, the child's brain has more space to focus on self-regulating behavior. Consistency in meal times also helps the child's body learn to generate real hunger, encouraging them to eat better and be willing to try different dishes. This very consistency is the foundation that helps children form the ability to focus and practice internal discipline. If parents persistently apply these 4 principles, you will begin to see a clear change in how the child approaches new foods. Their ability to wait, their calmness when facing the unfamiliar, and especially their growing independence in daily actions. These are not just changes in the meal, they are changes in the brain's structure, helping the child build the foundation to learn better, communicate better, and develop healthier emotions. However, many parents who start will face a very common question. What happens if the child doesn't eat anything during the meal? Will the child be too hungry? Is that harmful? And where is the line between letting the child be independent and when the parents need to intervene? All these important questions will be answered in the next part, and the answer might surprise you because it completely contradicts the beliefs of many parents. When parents begin to apply new principles at mealtimes, one of the biggest worries always surfaces quickly. What will happen if the child doesn't eat anything at all? This is a very real fear, because every parent carries a deep sense of responsibility that their child must be fed to be healthy and grow up normally. But it is this very anxiety that causes many parents to return to old habits, like begging, coaxing, or offering the child a snack to compensate, and this immediately breaks the executive function building process you are trying to establish for your child. Experts reassure that when a safe food is present on the table and when the child's body is truly hungry, they will eat. The human body has a very strong survival mechanism, and a child can completely skip a meal without any harm. The only thing affected is the adult's anxiety, not the child's health. When parents remain calm and gently communicate that the meal is over and the next time the child can eat will be breakfast at 7 the next morning, the child will understand that meals have limits, the structure is fixed, and the feeling of hunger is a natural consequence of not eating. This is a fundamental lesson in self-control that the child needs to experience. Many parents feel scared at the thought of letting their child skip a meal, but science has proven that this is completely safe. In fact, it is critically important for the child to feel a mild sense of hunger to build the self-regulating mechanism in the body and create motivation for the child to participate in meals more seriously. The child learns the connection between action and consequence very naturally, without yelling or pressure. This very experience will help the child become more responsible for their body, listen to internal signals, and form independence from a very early age. But the most important thing during this period is for parents to understand that the first few days are always a challenge. The child may object, may be irritable, or may try to revert to tactics that once caused the parents to give in. This is not a sign that the method is failing, but a natural reaction as the child realizes that the old routine is changing. If parents remain consistent during the first 1 to 3 days, the resistance will decrease significantly, and the child's executive function will begin to switch on in a way you never expected. The parent's consistency is the foundation for the child to enter a phase of stronger intellectual development. And when parents overcome that brief, challenging period, the magic will begin to happen in the family. Mealtimes become calmer, the child is more cooperative, and the tension no longer weighs on the parents as before. The child learns that they have the right to decide, but not the right to break the common structure. That is when the child's intelligence, emotion, and independence begin to clearly blossom. But here's the most important thing that many parents do not realize. Once meals become stable, the factor that truly determines the child's intelligence, focus, and learning ability lies in what happens between meals. Small but repetitive mistakes throughout the day can destroy the entire foundation that parents have worked hard to build. So what are those mistakes? And how can you comprehensively protect your child's intellectual development? The answer will be in the final part, and it may completely change the way you look at the journey of raising your child from today onward. If you have reached this point in the journey, you have probably started to see a different picture of parenting. A picture where a child's intelligence is not innate, not luck, and not a privilege belonging to only a few families. It is a life skill, a process nurtured day by day, hour by hour, through consistency, understanding, and the way parents handle small moments in daily life. When a child knows that meals always have a structure, that they have the right to taste and the right to decide but cannot break the common rules, their brain learns the two most important things, safety and predictability. And it is from these two foundations that executive function begins to develop, like a door to intelligence opening little by little. You are not just teaching your child how to eat, you are teaching them how to think. You are not just teaching your child to sit at the table, you are teaching them how to manage emotions. You are not just teaching your child to taste a new dish, you are teaching them how to approach the unknown with calmness and confidence. Every family meal is not just about nutrition, it is a brain training session. You are helping your child build focus, inhibitory control, reasoning skills, and self-reliance skills that will stay with them throughout their lives. But the truth many parents do not realize is that a child's intelligence is not only built in the moments you clearly see, such as meal times, study time, or when you guide them through a task. It is most powerfully formed in the small, silent moments that occur between the major activities. One time you refuse to give an off-schedule snack. One time you wait for the child to solve a small difficulty on their own instead of doing it for them. One time you listen to your child express an emotion instead of rushing to fix it. It is precisely these moments that build the strongest neural structures. If you maintain consistency, in just a short time, your child will begin to show a noticeable change. Less whining, more calm, more proactive, and more confident in the face of small challenges. That is not magic, but the inevitable result of a brain being trained correctly. And you are the one making it happen. But here is the final crucial piece that most parents overlook. What happens between meals, the unconscious snacking, the small actions that disrupt the natural feeling of hunger, the seemingly harmless changes in the schedule is precisely the silent cause that destroys a child's focus and intellectual development. If you don't grasp this, all the efforts you've made so far could be wiped out without you even knowing it. And that is exactly why you shouldn't stop here. In the next video, you will understand why the small mistakes between meals are so destructive, and how changing just one very small habit can help your child leap forward in intelligence, self-control, and cooperation. If you truly want your child to develop holistically, don't miss the next part, because it contains things that many parents wish they had known sooner.